Part 2: The Incentive Machine. Chapter 4: The Cost of Cynicism When Trust Collapses. 1. The Sound of Shrinking Faith. In every public opinion survey of the last 50 years, one number keeps falling: trust in institutions. Parliament, civil service, corporations, media, each line dips like a slow heartbeat on a fading monitor. People still want to believe, but the evidence tells them not to. They've watched promises dissolve in committee, budgets disappear into jargon, apologies issued faster than change. The result isn't rage, it's fatigue. Citizens stop expecting integrity because disappointment has become routine. Cynicism begins as defense. It ends as surrender. 2. The economic cost. Trust isn't sentimental, it's financial infrastructure. Economists use a concept called social capital, the invisible credit that lets societies function without constant policing. When trust is high, contracts need fewer clauses, businesses fewer audits, citizens fewer guards. Every handshake saves $1. When trust collapses, friction rises. Compliance costs balloon, governments add auditors, firms add lawyers. Investment slows, foreign and domestic investors avoid unpredictable environments. Tax revenue falls, citizens cheat a system they believe cheats them. A World Bank study estimated that countries in the top quartile of institutional trust enjoy GDPs up to 30% higher than those in the bottom quartile. Cynicism, in other words, is a hidden tax on prosperity. 3. The bureaucratic spiral. Inside institutions, low trust mutates into self-protection. Every approval requires 3 signatures, every memo 6 drafts. The civil servant spends more time proving diligence than doing good. Public sector productivity data from several OECD nations show that once trust in government dips below 50%, procedural layers multiply exponentially. Accountability becomes audibility, the noise of forms rather than the presence of ethics. People don't burn out from overwork, they burn out from undermeaning. 4. The political fallout. When voters stop trusting the mainstream, populists fill the void. They promise purity against corruption, simplicity against complexity. Slogans replace systems. Outrage becomes oxygen. The irony is cruel. The same cynicism that punishes elites empowers demagogues who deepen it. Each scandal makes the next more profitable. The body politic develops an autoimmune disease, attacking itself in search of relief. Political scientists call this the trust-populism loop. Mistrust breeds populism, populism erodes institutions, institutions lose more trust. The cycle accelerates until governance becomes permanent campaign. 5. The psychological toll. Cynicism isn't only structural, it's emotional. Surveys from the Canadian Mental Health Association show that political disengagement correlates with higher anxiety and lower community participation. When people feel their voices don't matter, even small acts of cooperation decline: less volunteering, fewer neighborhood projects, weaker social ties. Psychologists describe this as learned powerlessness, a civic cousin of learned helplessness. The nervous system gives up before the ballot does. In offices, schools, and families, the tone spreads. Children hear adults mutter, "They're all the same," and learn early that ethics is optional. Distrust becomes hereditary. 6. The erosion of public service. For those inside government, cynicism cuts both ways. The best civil servants join to make a difference. Years of political theater teach them to stop trying. Surveys of public employees across Commonwealth nations reveal a consistent pattern: morale drops fastest where ministers use departments as publicity props. Once idealists leave, inertia remains. The next generation watches from outside and decides not to enter at all. Recruitment shrinks, experience thins, competence suffers, proof, again, that distrust pays in decline. 7. The cost to democracy itself. Democracy is not a building, it's a conversation sustained by belief that words matter. When citizens assume the system is rigged, they exit the dialogue. Voter turnout drops, especially among the poor and young, the very people most affected by policy. The electorate becomes older, wealthier, angrier. Representation distorts. Political theorist John Donne called trust the essential lubricant of consent. Remove it, and the machinery seizes. 8. The cultural drift. As trust evaporates, culture adapts. Comedy becomes the national language of despair, late-night satire replacing civic education. News outlets chase scandal because audiences expect betrayal. Social media rewards suspicion more than empathy, outrage performs better than nuance. In that climate, even honest leadership looks implausible. Integrity becomes a niche aesthetic rather than a shared norm. 9. Case studies in collapse. Italy, 1990s, decades of patronage and bribery scandals, tangentially, erased faith in traditional parties, leading to political fragmentation that still haunts the country. Flint, Michigan, bureaucratic negligence and cost-cutting poisoned water supplies, government denial deepened community trauma and racial mistrust. Brazil, 2010s, corruption probes, Operation Car Wash, exposed billions in graft, triggering both reform and radicalization. Each example shows the same equation: distrust, disengagement, decay. Rebuilding takes longer than betrayal. 10. Reconstructing trust. Cynicism can't be argued away, it must be disproved through transparency and participation. Open budgets, every dollar traceable online. Citizen audits, random citizens review projects alongside professionals. Participatory policymaking, digital forums where proposals evolve publicly. Ethical education, civic curricula that teach how institutions work and how to watch them. Trust, like credit, is earned by consistent repayment. Each fulfilled promise, however small, compounds faith. 11. A closing reflection. Cynicism feels intelligent, hope feels naive. But cynicism builds nothing. The real measure of maturity is the ability to see corruption clearly without surrendering to it. A healthy democracy doesn't deny failure, it learns publicly from it. Trust is not blind belief, it's verified confidence, built one transparent action at a time. When citizens start expecting honesty again, institutions will rediscover how to deserve it. End of chapter 4. The cost of cynicism, when trust collapses. That one explored how stress, hierarchy, and culture numb empathy inside systems, and how to design structures that keep compassion alive. Next is one of the most human and revealing chapters in The House of Mirrors. It takes us inside the psychology of power, how stress, hierarchy, and culture slowly desensitize even well-meaning people, and then shows what can be done to keep empathy alive in institutions. Part 3. The Human Factor. Chapter 5. The Psychology of Detachment: Why Good People Stop Feeling.